Movies based on Marvel Comics have been popular for quite some time now. Whether they're made by Marvel Studios themselves, Fox, Sony Pictures, or otherwise, if a movie has a Marvel character in it, it usually does pretty well. But while they tend to perform pretty well critically and commercially, none of them are perfect by any stretch of the imagination. If you look close enough, factual errors, continuity errors, things being in shots that shouldn't be, and various other mistakes can be spotted in them. This video will take a look at some prime examples of that. Here are 10 Marvel movie mistakes they don't want you to find. The Avengers. There's a pretty silly continuity error in The Avengers, and it happens just after the second engine goes down on the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, following the attack on it by the mind-controlled Hawkeye and Loki's other henchmen. The visual display in Iron Man's helmet shows the altitude of the helicarrier as being 15,000 feet and rapidly falling. However, a short time later, just after a dying Phil Coulson shoots Loki with the destroyer gun, the altitude on the helicarrier's bridge shows it as being at 18,000 feet, even though it's been falling for quite a while. In some sort of weird miracle, it somehow fell upwards by more than 3,000 feet in that time. Guardians of the Galaxy. In Guardians of the Galaxy, when Peter Quill and Gamora first encounter one another and get into a fight on the planet of Xandar, Gamora grabs the Orb Infinity Stone that Quill is carrying and runs away. Quill throws a laser-based lasso-type device at her, which snares her legs and causes her to trip over. She removes it, and immediately in the next shot, it's completely vanished from the ground. Well, you might want to argue that it's a laser so it could have just dissipated, it also had mechanical components. So even if the laser had vanished, the mechanical pieces should have still been on the ground. Deadpool. After Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead interrupted Deadpool's interaction with Ajax on the bridge, Colossus handcuffs himself to Deadpool in an attempt to recruit him to the X-Men. Deadpool flat out refuses and even goes as far as to cut off his own left hand in order to escape the Russian mutant's clutches. However, as Deadpool falls down from the bridge onto a truck on the freeway below, it's actually his right hand that seems to be missing. The CGI guys got that one very wrong indeed. The Amazing Spider-Man. In The Amazing Spider-Man, after Peter Parker is bitten by a radioactive spider during a visit to Oscorp, he takes the subway to get home. During the journey, he discovers he has developed some spider-like abilities, such as sharp senses, incredible reflexes, super speed, and the ability to stick to things. Inadvertently, this gets him into a fight, and at one point the passenger uses Peter's own skateboard to hit him. The passenger in question is a black gentleman in a t-shirt, but a split second later he appears to have shapeshifted into a white guy wearing a checkered shirt. X-Men Days of Future Past. In X-Men Days of Future Past, which is set in 1973, there are a number of factual errors that don't fit with the date in question. The most obvious one occurs when Magneto enters the Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium. There's a groundskeeper lining a baseball field there, but that stadium didn't host baseball in 1973, as the Washington Senators had moved to Texas to become the Texas Rangers after the 1971 season. In 1973, the only team playing there regularly was the NFL team, the Washington Redskins. So the only lining being done should have been for a football field. Ant-Man. Although it's a fictional concept and we allow for the suspension of disbelief, the principle of size manipulation in Ant-Man is said to work on the basis of the space between molecules altering.
That's what powers the suit. That's why it works.
The space decreases for shrinking and increases for enlarging. That means that objects will weigh the same, regardless of their size.
Whoa, that's so cool, bro!
Therefore, Scott Lang couldn't ride an ant without crushing it, and Hank Pym couldn't walk around with a 60-ton tank in his pocket. Other errors of this nature include Darren Cross lifting a full-grown sheep between his finger and thumb, and the supersized Thomas the Tank Engine toy crushing a police car, because it would actually be far too light to do any damage. Fantastic Four. Let's be honest, the entirety of 2015's awful Fantastic Four reboot could quite easily be an entry on this list. But let's get a little more specific than that. Because of the reshooting of several scenes in the movie, Sue Storm's hairstyle, as well as the texture, length, and color of her hair, changes from scene to scene, and even sometimes from shot to shot. This was because Kate Mara's hair had been cut when she was called back for the reshot scenes, and she was forced to wear a wig, and not a very good one. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Right at the very beginning of Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, Idris Elba's Moreau, a French priest in the movie, is riding on a motorcycle with the license plate number NC5753T. This is very clearly visible in close-ups. However, moments later, as he rides along a stone road that leads to the monastery he's heading to, before he passes two guards at the monastery's entrance, we can see that the screen has been flipped for some bizarre reason. The number plate we had just seen is briefly written backwards on the screen. This was obviously either a mistake or it was done on purpose without realizing that the audience would be able to tell. Blade Trinity. At the start of Blade Trinity, Blade is framed for the murder of a human by the vampire community.
Damn.
And he allows himself to be captured and arrested. After an interrogation proves futile, the police prepare to hand Blade over to a group of federal agents who, unbeknownst to them, are vampires. He's rescued by Hannibal King and Abigail Whistler, but during their escape, he heads to a higher floor in the police station to find his sword. He re-emerges outside after crashing through a window and landing dramatically on the concrete, followed by a lot of glass which covers the floor around him. However, in the next scene, once he stands upright, the glass around him has weirdly disappeared. Captain America: Civil War. Captain America: Civil War was fantastic, one of the best movies of 2016 and the highest grossing one of the year so far. But there's a mistake in the movie that was even in the trailer and still made it to the final cut. When Spider-Man makes his big entrance at the German airport where the movie's main battle takes place, he flips through the air and relieves Captain America of his shield using his webbing. However, just a moment later when he lands on top of the vehicle holding the shield, the webbing has mysteriously vanished from it. Given how sticky that webbing is, there's no way that Spidey himself could have removed it so quickly. Thanks for watching our list of 10 Marvel movie mistakes they don't want you to find. Did you enjoy this video? What other Marvel movie mistakes can you think of? Let us know in the comments section below and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.